A lot has changed overnight, but Buick and GMC's commitment to you remains the same. We understand you want to feel safe, so we're offering current owners complimentary OnStar Crisis Assist services. Should you need a vehicle, we're offering 0% financing for up to 84 months with deferred payment options for 120 days. Plus, you may have the option to shop online and take delivery at home. Visit our websites for the help you need.
Visit AutoSpot GMC today.
Hello, my name is Mark Berry. I'm a 4-year Air Force veteran and close to 20 years of DoD fire service. Last year, June of 2019, we happened to have one of the hardest parts of our lives happen. We had a medical with me, ended up with massive hemoptysis. And during that time, while I was in the medically induced coma, my wife frantically looked for help. She found the congressman's office, which responded extremely quickly. They found out that I was improperly coded in the VA and quickly helped to fix it, which allowed me to get a medical flight to UCLA and get the medical treatment I needed, and that's why I'm here today.
I just want to say to anyone out there, if you have any federal issues, please visit your congressman's office to see what resources are available.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Funerals actually take a lot more planning than I expected. With us using island cuisine for the first time, of course we were iffy, but once they came and showed us their service, their food, we tasted their food and everything, we definitely use them again because their service and food is just awesome.
After Guam, Siraj Gimp introducing the 2020 Toyota Tacoma Access Cap D-Max. Este na mês, got to promo United Airlines, $1,000 United vouchers. After Nanga, something manonos in Tacoma, Guam, Tacoma territory. Text Siraj, Ginigi Atkins Pro Toyota, 671-788-2584. Alumbray, go Siraj, Sinanagan 671-788-2584. After Nanga, let's go places.
Many accolades and celebrations.
Hafa Marianas, welcome to Candid News. I'm Johnny Rosario.
And I'm Troy Torres.
It is April 11th, Saturday, the day before Easter.
And I am wearing this hat because my hair is ferocious, because can I get a haircut like everybody else? I would like to see how some people's eyebrows look these days, and their ferocious haircuts as well. If I wasn't going to follow the whole social isolation thing, I literally would go to people's homes just to see how fat they've gotten and to make me feel better about myself. Can't get your nails done?
No.
Why don't you cut the rest of them?
I am.
Okay.
I was going to stop at Home Center because it's an essential to buy acetone. But then I was thinking if I went and got the acetone and then I got pulled into one of those checkpoints, they're going to put acetone and Johnny together, and then it's a whole different...
How's everyone's social isolation going? I watched Good Friday Mass yesterday. The Archbishop was, it was a very moving Mass. And I've never, ever gone to Good Friday Mass before. This is my first time. And so I didn't know that that's how the Mass is. But of course, it's different because there's hardly anybody else. There's like one choir singer, 2 readers, and 1 priest for the Archbishop in that really big cathedral. But it was a very moving Mass. He said this nice homily and everything. But it was the the readings that I was attracted to. As a matter of fact, we have to end this show by 7:30 because I need to watch the Easter Vigil. It's on PBS, I think. Okay. If you go to PBS's YouTube, you can find the master, I think. Otherwise, it's on the Dulce Nombre de Maria Cathedral Basilica Facebook page, right? Mm-hmm. So the first thing that we need to put up is probably the most important thing, and that's our meme that we made about not going to Easter parties. Can we put that up on the screen so people can see that, Chelo, the don't be stupid meme? Well, if you want, you can cast to my screen in just a second. So I want to show people what it means to be socially isolated for the top guy in the Catholic Church.
I got it. Boom. Here we go.
There. It's a very simple message. Don't be stupid. Do not gather for Easter parties tomorrow. So I've heard a whole lot of people talking about having just their immediate family over for Easter. And I think there are people who are not understanding this whole thing. Like, even if your parents live across the street from you, even if your children have been in isolation for 14 days and they didn't whatever, that's not a reason to have an Easter gathering tomorrow.
I think last night's message or the JIC release was very misleading.
Yep.
Telling the people that there's 0 positives when in fact there was 2 positives.
Yep.
It was just another lab.
And then it caused mayhem in the media because there were different reports that came out.
So it wasn't really 0 positives. It's actually 2 positives.
And then what Dr. Shea was saying is that we shouldn't be measuring the infection curve. We should be basing decisions on the hospitalization curve.
Right. And there's a new patient in ICU.
Oh, is there?
I believe so.
I hope that person comes out okay. Can we put that meme back up? Because I really want people to take this message with them. The Easter meme. So what this really means is do not go to someone else's house for Easter. Do not invite people over to your home for Easter. Do not invite the neighbor's kids over for an Easter egg hunt at your house, even though it's going to be outdoors. All of that is just inviting the infection curve and then the hospitalization curve to just explode. Now, I know how Easter is important to many families, and they want to just be with each other, you know, because it's the holiest day in the Catholic Church. But go back to my screen again. If this guy can do it, if this guy who has been saying masses by himself to the whole world on the screen can socially isolate in his household with only his household members, then really there's no excuse why the rest of us couldn't do the same thing. And I hate to be the one to say this, but it would be selfish to violate the governor's, I don't know, are they orders, directives? What are they? Requests for people to socially isolate. The governor's right. We should not be going into other people's homes, even on Easter Sunday. I don't think there is any more important message to bring out tonight and through the rest of, this whole public health emergency. But there is other news that we need to get to. And that includes information that FEMA presented to the congressmen of the different territories and the representatives of the insular areas. I believe that includes the freely associated states. There was a teleconference call that happened on Thursday in Washington, D.C. It was organized by CNMI Congressman Gregorio Kilili Sablan. Congressman Mike Siniclis from Guam was on the call as well. And during this call, Robert Fenton Jr., who is the administrator for Region 9 for FEMA, Region 9 includes Guam. It's like California, Oregon, Guam, all this stuff, right? He said that the height of the infections will be happening sometime between May and mid-June in Guam and the NMI. Now, Governor Ralph Torres has issued a continuing state of significant emergency and public health emergency in the Commonwealth. So I think that what that means is until he says that it's over. But Governor Lulian Guerrero has only issued the state of emergency until May 5.
Right.
And so no word yet from the governor's office in Guam whether that's going to be extended, but this, of course, is an issue if the information that FEMA provided, now I don't know if that information came from the CDC or the State Department or wherever, but FEMA provided the info.
I think FEMA's here doing their own research.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not, if I was to go by what the governor's office is giving out, I'm confused. I've sent all of, I have a family member who's an epidemiologist with a degree, right? And I send over the JICs, every JIC that comes out, and even she is in dismay about what, like, it's so confusing, and it's almost like they're doing it on purpose.
You know what? That's a great segue to our top story tonight, and let's go to our top story now then.
Okay.
And it is the constant and the latest misinformation by the governor that's caused a whole bunch of confusion in the community. And so Kandit sort of took a break yesterday because it was Good Friday, and like my grandparents were very serious about the whole Good Friday thing. And
I did. I said something online, and
you deleted it?
No, my girlfriend messaged me, and she's like, "It's Good Friday. You need to be nice." So I just laid off of Facebook for the rest of the day.
So while we were laid off of Facebook, there were stories coming in from the other media about Governor Lulian Guerrero and her talking about the pandemic unemployment insurance program.
I'm gonna fight for you, Guam, for you to get the 900. You go, girl. You fight.
yeah, no kidding. Ever since the Congress passed the CARES Act and the president signed it, Congressman Mike St. Nicholas has been telling us that qualified residents who are unemployed or furloughed from the pandemic or as caused by the pandemic, and this goes, it's retroactive to like March 12 or March 10 or something like that. He's been telling us from the start that those qualified are going to receive weekly checks of about $960 and divided into two different pandemic unemployment insurance programs. One where you get $360 for the next like 37 weeks or something like that, and another where you get $600 for the next 4 months. And so combined, that's $960 a week for the next 4 months. Over the past week, despite what the congressman has been telling the people, the media, and the governor in a number of written letters to the governor, the past week, the governor has been saying, no, her legal team is...
Which one? The one with no license?
That's the one.
That's the one?
That's the one. Telling her that, no, we don't qualify for the $600, so we need a special agreement with the U.S. Department of Labor. And so when that first came out, we were all like, no, that's wrong. And the congressman, several times, he had once after, or a couple times after a couple of news conferences that the governor had, and then once after he was apparently on the phone, the governor apparently was on the phone with Patty Arroyo on the Patty Arroyo show on News Talk K57 and told Patty, we're not qualified for this, and so we have to go and get special permission from U.S. Department of Labor.
Right.
And the congressman came out with statements each and every time very quickly and said, no, the governor's wrong. We are very much included. He went out of his way to take a snippet of the law and highlight that, hey, this is the plain language of the federal law. And so it caused a whole lot of confusion in the community.
Me.
Well, to a lot of people who were like, hey, do we qualify for this or not? Are we getting 360 or are we getting 960? Or who's gonna get the 600? Is the government gonna get that or is that the people? A lot of confusion. And so today, or yesterday, the governor put out a news release because she wrote a letter to U.S. Department of Labor saying, hey, are we qualified for this or not? Because I'm not so sure anymore, but my legal experts tell me no. And then, and U.S. Department of Labor writes back and says, yes, you're qualified. And she spins that in a news release to the media saying, oh, we got approval from U.S. Department of Labor that it's $960, trying to make it sound like she's the one who got this done. And though, crying about credit is something that maybe people don't want to hear about, we need to be very honest with our viewers about who this credit belongs to, but more importantly...
But it's not even about that. It's
not.
Getting the right information out there to the people.
Even more important than that, she delayed this whole process by 1 week.
And right now, Guam is getting $0.
Because she hasn't hurried it up. And neither did the governor of the CNMI. Congressman Gregorio Khalili Sablan was telling Governor Torres, just like Congressman St. Nicholas was telling Governor Leon Guerrero, that yes, it's going to be this amount, it's going to be the full amount, the CNMI was included, et cetera, et cetera. Despite that, Governor Torres waited for this letter to come from U.S. Department of Labor before acting. So he delayed the CNMI to get that money by a week and also tried to take credit away from Kilili. It's just sickening, this politics that happens. And
I honestly think that the governor of the CNMI is doing it for his own reasons. The people getting laid off in the government, he wants to do that, then get the U.S. DOL, whatever, to make it seem like he saved the day.
That's all he does.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that it
He's
can
notorious for it.
cover up his misspending, his misuse of government funds.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it. I would not be surprised whatsoever.
So, Governor Ralph Torres, go ahead and lay me off so I can qualify for this, because you can't even pay the retirees.
You know, one thing, if the governor was smart, one thing that she would do is furlough government employees who make less than $960 a week, so that those government employees can qualify for the federal unemployment money, and then the government of Guam can save that money.
Yep.
You know,
I agree.
if the governor was smart.
Yeah.
Let's take a poll. Who thinks the governor is smart?
I should have set that up before the show started.
Let's see what the comments are. Charles Patterson says the Pope is isolating with Jesus, Mary, and all the saints. It's more than 10 people. Yes, but his isolation began with Jesus, Mary, and all the saints from the time the pandemic started. So it's the same household, you know, so there's no danger. Pam Duvall says, it's my daughter's birthday tomorrow. We're only FaceTiming and I'm dropping a cake I baked for her, but I'm leaving it on her porch and just waving and throwing kisses. Man, that's so sad. I'm sorry, Pam, and happy birthday to your daughter. Dumbole says it's going to be extended. I think he's talking about, he or she is talking about the public health emergency, right?
Well, Dumbole seems to know a lot. I wish they had their real name instead of a fake name, because apparently this person knows so much.
We have there's a lot of
Fake
I guess
profiles?
profiles where they don't use their names or whatever. I enjoy the commentary though. I really do.
So do I.
Jack Sorosky says, but if she announced it when the congressman did, she couldn't try and take credit for it. Yeah, well, I mean, she could have tried to take credit for it from the beginning if she was paying attention, but obviously our governor doesn't know how to pay attention. The other thing about this, like you were saying, it's that she gives bad information, because this is not the first time that Governor Leon Guerrero has given bad information.
Yeah.
It happens a lot. And so part of what we're trying to let you guys know, or this perspective we want everyone to have, is maybe it ain't so smart to listen to at least the data coming out of the governor's office, because she's just proving time and time again that they are unreliable in the dissemination of proper information to the public.
She's singing that song, put your left foot in, put your left foot out, put your left foot in, and shake it all around.
Jerry Guam says she doesn't listen to the congressman. Happy Easter, Connie Finonia, who says happy Easter to us. Denise Pangilinan says, it is just disgusting the way Lou is handling this whole situation. Instead of doing her darn job she was elected to do, she is turning this into a pissing contest. Like she is doing all the groundwork. She is being misled by a team of morons, all while the rich stay rich and the poor continue to get poorer. Tatanaka says she's on a power trip. Yeah, I think so. Sandra Rages says she said 10 minutes ago and slipped in the now. Alicia is saying that mass started already. Are you lying, Alicia? I guess that's a bad thing to lie about. Sandra says, like we didn't know already because MSN told us already. Marlena Alo says, just go to U.S. Department of Labor. It breaks it down. Yeah, if you just go to the CARES Act, it specifically says Guam. Marifi Dokulan says, Sina, my memo says $600. Well, also, Marif, it says that $600 on top of the other PUI pandemic or PUI benefits. So I don't know whether that additional PUI benefit for CNMI unemployed who are qualified is $360. It could be another amount. I've sent in an inquiry to Congressman Kilili Savan to find out what that amount might be, but it's $600 plus another amount per week. Paris Mendiola Blas says she refuses to work with our congressman. GCC has already announced rebates for students.
Wow.
Wow, that's pretty good. We do have a story about EOG tuition. We just haven't published it yet. Stephen Cruz says to Lynn, happy Easter to you too. Be safe. Lynn Birmingham Babata says, we're not stupid. We know he's to blame. He's only fooling himself. I think she's talking about Governor Ralph Torres. Garrett Jackson says, not really impressed with any of the governors. Yeah, neither are we. Denise Pangilinan says, this will continue as long as we, the people of Guam, continue to allow this kind of incompetence. How will elections run this year? Speaking of allowing incompetence.
I don't know, but I think we do. I think we're gonna make a change.
You think so?
I think this is the year of the change. We're gonna change up the legislature. Believe me, it's gonna change.
I hope so.
And then that's gonna go into the gubernatorial election.
Denise Pangilinan wins the commentary of the year.
What?
I've seen rocks smarter than this lady. Okay, let's go back to the stories and we'll get back to the comments. That was pretty good, Denise. I love that so much. And I love you. So, I was really trying hard not to cough. I know you guys are looking at me like cooties now, right? There is traffic on Guam caused by road blockades in 4 areas of the island that are meant to constrict and constrain traffic flow in the major commercial centers of Guam. And if you see, go ahead and blow that thing up onto the full screen, Charlie, so people can see. Look at that first one at the top, Route 1, Dedado by Lucky Supply. What that means is if you live in Gadzanero, Jigo, and you need to go to Muning, you would have to, wait, let's see this. You would have to either go through Back Road and then go to Route 16 all the way down to Route 1 to Muning, or Route 1 Harmon, where Micronesia Mall is.
Or you can go to Route 3.
Or you can go through Route 3, yes. But it's a lot of gas, right?
Yeah.
And if you live in Tumuning and you need to get to Mangilaw, you would have to go to Route 16, where the mall is, and then go to Mangilaw. You couldn't go through Airport Road anymore, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It looks like it's all Route 1 and Route 8.
Route 1 and Route 8 only, yes. Is that Route 8 or Route 10? No, that's Route 8. That's Route 8. So on the bottom right, Barragata Route 8 by Shell gas station. That's another major area that would connect people who would, in the central and the northern areas, normally go through there in order to. So these are all the major areas. If I feel it's most sorry for the people who live in Agate and Umatic, because if they needed to go, well, anywhere up north and anywhere in the central area, they would need to take either the long way on Route 2 around through Maritzo, Inarahan, Talafofo, Jonia, all the way, or Cross Island Road. And then pick some sort of way of getting to, this is a matter of strategizing your ability to get to wherever. And so then there's the Route 1 East Agania by the former Shen's Furniture. So, but here's the thing. They're not actually restricting your passage.
They're educating you.
They're educating you, and they are trusting that you have essential business or an essential function, and that's why you're going through those blockades. So they're not stopping people from going through there. And I think that has everything to do with some legal mumbo jumbo. But the purpose of this thing, according to National Guard spokeswoman Major Josephine Blas, she says that they're stopping every car so that they can provide some sort of education about whatever to each of the cars going by. So that has caused some major traffic. Did I give you a picture of the traffic? It's so. Go ahead and yeah, there we go. But today, so it started today at 10 a.m. It goes every day from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And there's pictures and videos all over Facebook and Instagram and everything showing just how congested the roads are now. So before today, the roads were not congested. There were people who were driving, yes, nothing like it was before the pandemic started or before the whole emergency started. But now there are cars waiting for several meters from each side of these blockades because, this whole blockade thing has happened. Now, people were wondering whether this is legal. And what I want to say about this is I would rather the governor do this than the legislature give her the power to do this.
Right.
I would rather, so I'm a little okay with this. I still think it's kind of dumb, but it's still, I mean, I guess it does serve a purpose.
It's dumb for the essential workers that live in Sinahanya or live in wherever and have to drive through 2 blockades to get to their job.
Yeah.
Which means instead of them taking the back roads, they're going to go straight through it because they're essential workers, but they're going to have to leave their house an hour early.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
What about those people?
And it's very likely that most of those people in those blockades really are the essential workers, the ones who are, you know what I mean? So, they don't have a system where there's a sticker or something, a decal.
Administration did not, like you and I, when we're discussing a plan, we go from A to Z.
Yeah.
A, B,
and there's a program.
Right?
Yeah.
So we know even the outcome. These are, if we choose this and this is the outcome of this, this, and this. And we discuss that. We even have meetings. We used to have meetings on Saturday to discuss those things.
But we can't because of social isolation.
Yeah. So this administration, nothing, every chance she got to tell us something she's excited about, she would tell us, but they never thought it through.
I guess not.
Nothing is thought through. Nothing.
Well, their legal blah, blah, blah isn't even thought through as well. We have to write an embarrassing letter to U.S. Department of Labor.
Like, duh, if you read what we gave you in our website, you would know you qualify for that.
So this means that our roads are militarized.
Wait, can I just say, the person who made sure the territories were included work in that financial department in the United States of America. And Lou, it just so happens to be our congressman. He is the vice chair of that committee.
Certainly is.
So Guam, it was included and is included. And from now on, as long as he is there, Guam will always be included to make your job easier. Lulu Bell.
But
Kim Jong-lu, whatever your name is.
Ray's going to be mad at you for using that one.
Lulu Bell.
Lulu Bell.
Hello. Sorry, guys, I'm just irritated.
Let's go to the comments first. Let's go to the comments.
Troy, I'm home. I do not.
Yeah.
You're getting cabin fever?
Yeah.
I'm not. I love Netflix and Hulu. I love this staying home thing. I'm all for it. Joanne Fullerton is laughing out loud. Janice Castro says they will continue to work making less than this. Joey Tova says, so the police are watching the roadblocks. Who's watching the criminals roam the village streets? Oh, I forgot. So there are checkpoints. On top of the road closures, GPD is putting up DUI and speeding checkpoints. And so there's going to be extra constriction on the roadways.
Yeah.
So just so everybody knows. Joey Tova says, so the police are watching the roadblocks. Who's watching the criminals roam the village streets? Apparently the police. And the police aren't doing the roadblocks. That's being run by the National Guard. That's why our story says that our roads have been militarized, though the guardsmen are not armed.
Right.
I thought that was a very important distinction to make, and the National Guard thought it was a very important distinction to make. And let's give it up to our guardsmen and to the police department who actually have to run this stuff.
Like if I went through a blockade and I saw that it's the guardsmen, I think I'm less defensive, you know?
Yeah.
I'm very defensive. My live is on. Once I see something coming up, I turn on my live and it's on.
Charles Patterson says the blockades work. I wanted to go to Autospot, but because of the checkpoints, I just said F it and stayed home.
It's a deterrent.
It is. It's a deterrent. You're right.
Well, it just didn't make it just didn't make me get some acetone.
Denise Pangilinan says, I find it hilarious and ironic we are using the honor system while driving through these checkpoints, especially considering no clue clearly displays no honor. Johnny Rages says, that's why nice, stay at home. Vijay Sharma says, that is why we all need to stay home. I bet not everyone is essential that needs to be on the road.
I agree.
So yes, and if this stops people from going from one home to another home, then it accomplishes something good. And again, and I don't know if the governor realizes it, but her putting up these road blockades almost
other
makes
people at risk.
No, it almost makes her request for dictator powers moot. And it made me wonder why it took this long for them to put up road blockades because, and I know this is a long time ago, but whenever there are big typhoons, after a big typhoon, because the traffic lights are jammed up and everything or the power's off, the National Guard is deployed by the governor to, and they put up blockades. And sometimes they are full blockades where only essential personnel are allowed through. It's for the efficient flow of personnel and supplies and equipment to respond to the emergency, what do you call it? The aftermath, the recovery effort, to respond to the recovery effort. And this is not something that is made up. This is something that's written very clearly into the Guam Emergency Response Plan. And so I know that the Leon Guerrero administration hasn't brushed up on that response plan because
I think they just read page 1.5, and then they stopped there and they're like, "Oh, we can do this and we can do that."
The Cliff's Notes. They read the Cliff's Notes.
Yeah, and then the next day they go to the next page and then read 2 to 7, and then they stop there instead of going. Oh, okay.
It took them some time to get to page 27.
You, Carlo, you, Janella, you, Jenna, you read 1 to 3. Janella, you read 4 to 7. Jenna, Gamindi, you read 8 to 10. And then come back to me with what's in there.
You're being too nice. They should all know what's in that emergency response plan.
Well,
every
just
governor
to get
before,
it started.
Every governor before this one, them and their staffs knew what was in that emergency response plan. And whenever action was needed, they were like this. And they were following the emergency response plan. And this whole road closures thing is part of it. I wondered why it took so long for them to understand that they could have done this a long time ago if they wanted to. Why only now? Why did they even ask the legislature for any authority if they could do something like this? And again, now it defeats the purpose. It almost defeats the purpose of the governor's request for dictator powers.
Well, she should ask Peter Santos for help with her lawyers team because apparently that guy knows everything.
Quack, 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 quack.
Second string.
Second string. John Palau says, a clip on the Guam Daily Post, I interpret that as the governor giving the National Guard a script to recite to everyone they stopped at a roadblock. Oh my God, bless her heart. Oh my goodness. Okay, so aside from the roadblocks, aside from the major correction about the pandemic unemployment thing, and aside from the Easter party stuff, and before we get to the thing about the Dictator Act, there is a problem with newly hired government of Guam employees, those who were hired with a temporary physician's license, temporary LPN, and certified nursing assistant licenses, and other medical professionals hired through public health since nearly the start of this emergency. They haven't been processed yet, and they haven't been paid. Yeah, it's an issue because it's been longer than the 2 weeks. They should have had their first paycheck already and should be going into their second pay period, but they haven't been processed yet, according to calls that have been coming in.
Why? What are they doing over there at DOE?
They said they only recently got drug tested. So a drug test is like the last requirement before you're processed. And why that took so long, I don't know. And why the paperwork is taking so long, I don't know. It's not like there are hundreds to process at one time.
Right.
It's just, it's a few. And so.
No, what were they doing?
Corrupted zoo. So, but that's not the only personnel issue that there is. On Thursday, when the senators discussed and debated Talina Nelson's Bill 319, it's the hazard pay bill. I don't know that many senators quite understood what they were doing, and I kind of felt sorry for Vice Speaker Talina Nelson, who obviously knew what she was doing, but then her bill was getting amended. And you could see her on the floor of the session hall getting aggravated with many senators. She was, she was throwing her finger around, and she was doing this number while she was standing up talking to the, remind me to tell a cute story about Telina versus Tello. Maybe we can get Tello on the line to talk about this. But one of the senators, and I don't remember who, made the motion to remove from the public health emergency the provisions of the Government of Guam personnel rules and regulations governing overtime payment during emergencies. See, what's supposed to have happened, what is supposed to have had,
Yeah, whatever.
whatever,
Yeah. What was supposed
happened
to happen?
since the start of the emergency, whoever in the Government of Guam was working during the emergency, not on an administrative leave like everybody else, but let's say Jenna Blas with Joint Information Center.
She's supposed to get time and a half.
They're supposed to get time and a half
Right.
for every hour that they work. And then you're supposed to add the hazard pay as a percentage of that time and a half,
Yeah.
not as a percentage of the regular hourly
Right.
amount. And then if there's night differential that applies, it's supposed to be against, the percentage against the full amount, all of that stuff, right? They haven't been paying the employees who've been working the time and a half. They've only been getting their regular rate of pay, which is one issue. That these Government of Guam employees later can probably file a class action suit for their pay
Right.
later on. But I don't know whether the senators realized when they made this motion and they passed this amendment. It was an amendment to an amendment. It was to remove that emergency pay from these GovGuam workers moving forward, that they've nixed it. So from the time that Governor Luliangaro signs that bill into law to the end of the emergency, those GovGuam employees no longer are going to be entitled to the time and a half pay.
Wow.
Or to the overtime pay. Yeah. And of course there are financial considerations beyond that, but it passed without any objection, and it was so quick that I thought maybe senators didn't quite understand what they were doing. And whoever moved that motion probably got that in a message from Adelie. Oh, hey, can you make this motion and put it through? That's how that stuff works. So I asked a couple of senators today whether they understood that they allowed that measure to go through, and they said no, they had no idea. And I won't say who they are, but there's still time to salvage this if the senators want to restore that emergency pay, because the bill is in the voting file. The senators can do a motion notwithstanding the House rules to debate the measure again.
But it depends on who brings it up.
It cannot be a Republican.
It cannot be those four in the corner, right? Or
Five.
five on the side there.
Yeah. Or
It has-
Therese Terlahi. Because
Yeah.
the Democrats, they don't get along with Therese Terlahi all the time.
Oh, okay. Well,
That-
so then it has to be somebody that.
That's why it's a circus, because they're not listening to Therese Terlahi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
So aside from all of the recess, notwithstanding all the recesses that happened, probably the most important thing that they did that day that they didn't even understand was they took emergency rate pay away from GovGuam employees. And if I'm not mistaken, that includes the legislature too, because it includes exempt employees as well. It's not just the classified, it's also the unclassified employees that they did this to. And so from the time that becomes law, if it becomes law, to the end of the emergency, they will not get emergency pay rate. And for the time that they have been working to the time that this becomes law, they need to be paid that emergency pay because it's part of labor. What's what? What?
Jerry Guam.
What? I want to know.
Will didn't know because he was too busy on Grindr. Wait, I have something to ask you.
I was like, I choked on a joint or something.
Wait, I have something else to ask you.
Yeah.
Are you aware that people serving our food doesn't have to have a health certificate?
Oh, for real? Oh, that's right. Temporary whatever, right?
You're okay with that?
No, I'm not okay with that.
I want to vomit.
That's like extra cooties. I mean, they don't want us to get sick from coronavirus, so now we can get sick from salmonella. Very, very good, Governor. Very good. Let's see if she answers.
I'm telling you.
Because this what she told me
never
today was super funny.
Things through.
Hold on, I'm calling our friend. Hi, Senators. Hi, Degui. Hi. Say hi to Kandit, Lan, and to Johnny.
Hey,
Hi, Tello.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, I know.
We're
Everybody okay?
we're
Everybody's
live
good.
right now. We're live right now, and I didn't want to repeat what you said to me without your permission, but without saying what it exactly was. Can you tell our viewers about what you were telling me about? Remember when we were doing the game on Kandit on Thursday about the matchups between people? Because people were pulling lots on this, right? There was Tello versus Talina, Talina versus Tina, Tello versus Tina, and so I came out and I was like, you know what? We discounted Speaker Tina Winnie Barnes because she's the most athletic member of the legislature. She has her.
She's what?
She was the most athletic member of the legislature. She was like in the Micronesian Games She was a softball player, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's not. She might have played a little bit of basketball, but wasn't quite sure. I think she was benched quite a bit.
So, Senator, can you tell us who the most athletic member of the legislature is?
Gee, I don't know everybody's background or history, but I do know mine.
Tell us your history. I want Candidland to hear this so they understand that you're actually a very athletic person.
Well, I received a scholarship for volleyball from high school to play volleyball, and but I ended up singing. I ended up took the route of singing. So just before that, I was in gymnastics and studied with Kent State University in the States by the age when I was in 6th grade and competed in the States for gymnastics. So when when my family moved back to Guam, I ended up teaching gymnastics at Leanna School of Dancing, and then ended up teaching at Saragata Junior High at the time, where they actually had me teaching a class there while I was a student there. I'm a certified tennis instructor. I received gold medals in track and field for the javelin, high jump, and track and field for the 100-yard dash. Gosh, what else?
Okay. What inquiring minds want to know, Senator.
Okay, how about this? I know Kayla. May God rest her soul. I know Kayla was a very tough lady. And who can beat Kayla's butt?
Well, I'm the older sister.
I just love you.
Kayla being rolling in her grave if she ever heard anyone saying that, my sister can't kick people's butt.
So Senator.
But no, I will stick, Kayla and I, we definitely do our arm wrestling, and we always try to see who's a better volleyball player than the other. She's definitely a better baseball player than I am, but softball player, but volleyball, no, they differ. But yeah, we grew up a bit tomboy-like. I had 5 sisters, counting myself, no brothers. So of course we did all the mowing the lawn and fixing the tire on the car kind of thing. So we kind of grew up. And plus, I keep a punching bag in my condo here where I exercise on every once in a while.
So Senator, okay, we're gonna let you go, but we're gonna put the MMA senatorial matchup back up to our viewers so that they can think about this again, about a matchup, a Tello versus Talina, Tello versus Tina, Talina versus Tina.
How about who's against Will? One of the
No,
women.
they're all gonna beat up Will. Thanks, Senator. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, Johnny, take care of
You
I
too.
haven't seen you in a while. And to Kandit people, Kandit family out there, please take care of yourself. Stay home and
Happy
love
Easter.
one another. It's
Yes.
Easter tomorrow. Let's all love one another.
Oh, and you're against the Dictator Act, correct?
Sorry?
You're against the Dictator Act, right? That's okay. Thank you. That's our next story.
Right, I'm sitting here on my table right now going through all the bills that are out there, even the bills that were not even put on the session floor to review it. And this bill that they have out, there's really no need for us to even address it. The governor already implemented this roadblock right now and deterring people from, being on the road or at least being in long lines waiting to pass through a roadblock. This granted, everyone needs to know too that even though you are stopped, if you say, and Troy and Johnny, if you were to tell the officer or the National Guard that you stops you to ask you where you're going, and you say, well, I decided I'm going to the beach or I'm going to go see a friend, can they actually arrest you right there? No. They can't do anything at that point. But I think we all need to remember that we need to stay home. We need to get this curve from, peaking and leveling it down so that we all can get out of this sooner than later. I don't want to see us having that second wind and then we're stuck dead for another 14 days after May 5th.
Yeah.
I got a birthday to celebrate in May.
Wait, don't tell me your birthday is on Cinco de Mayo.
On May 14th.
Oh.
Yeah. We're not so lucky this time. Anyways, God bless you guys all. Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy
Be safe.
Easter.
Happy Easter, Johnny. Take care, Troy. Thank you so much.
Happy Easter, Senator.
And by the way, I'm doing that section about the hazardous pay
Okay.
right now. And getting that answer for you,
Okay.
as well as something else came up too, retro pay, which is Bill 337. You might want to look at that bill, 337-35, called retro pay.
Okay.
We've had history on retro pay, huh, Troy?
Yes. And the third, our third and more silent owner of Kandit, Carlos Pangilinan, says, the thing just did. Oh no, Tello is a lot more focused these days, very attentive to the issues, he says. Okay, thanks, Senator. Thank you for your time.
I am. I'm doing my homework. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. So the Dictator Act, that was Senator Tello Sadabi. She stopped short of saying that she can kick Tilina's butt. I think she...
I don't think she wanted to say that
on the air, right?
Yeah.
Where it's recorded or something.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should just let them arm wrestle. How about this? I don't know if everybody's thought about this COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 14 days. Everybody, if this disease doesn't have a chance to spread, I can't give it to you, you can't give it to me, right? That means it's gonna die. So then Guam would be cured, right?
Sure.
So then as soon as that's over, we just have to think about letting people into the island.
Mm-hmm.
But we can fix ourselves here first.
Yes.
Right?
If people would just
So
stay
if
home.
people would just stop spreading it by having their poker nights and their family get-togethers and their... no, I'm serious.
Yeah.
I miss my kids too. I'm in Jigo. I do not go anywhere for your safety as well because we have to work together.
Mm-hmm.
For Eric's safety, we have to all think about each other's safety. You know what I mean? So if we just stop, everything stop spreading this, and the government needs to be honest about how this is being spread.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of hiding information, the church, the golf, where else did she say? The clinics.
A bunch. Travel to like some social gathering in the Philippines.
No, I'm talking about the spread here, the community spread here.
Family events. I don't know. There was a bunch.
Yeah,
A
we
bunch
need
of
to be
plus.
honest.
Bingo.
Bingo. We need to be honest about it. The governor needs to be honest about it. And we need to remind you, the reason why the governor wasn't honest about it in March is because the cluster of people that it came from was her crew. They're the ones that's why they were so secretive. So now that it's out of control, now they're giving you a little bit more information. But they still don't want it to head back to them.
And blocking your roads.
Yeah. So right now, what's done is done. We can't blame her. We can just do our part. Everybody stay home and stop spreading this. Because once it dies, it's done. It's off our island.
We can blame her.
Then we can blame her again.
I'll blame her now. I've been blaming her. Thank you. Thank you. I could not have said that better myself. So now the governor has screwed this up. Now she wants dictatorial powers.
Yeah, well, she ain't going to get it.
Bill 334, the Dictator Act, if it passes as it has been introduced, will make it...
Rose said,
What?
Selena Nelson is nothing.
Who said that?
Rose, our friend.
Where? Let me see.
Because, and I forgot about this. I witnessed this. Rose.
Oh,
kicked
you were all
her butt.
classmates?
Yeah.
Rose Tovis?
Rose, you're right. I remember. Happy Easter. I love you.
Stay home.
Stay home.
Hey, I know both Tello and Selena will kick my butt, so I ain't gonna say anything about that. So, this Dictator Act, what it does is it gives the governor the power to issue executive orders, and those executive orders have the effect of statute.
Mm-hmm.
And if you violate those executive orders, you will, if you're caught, be arrested, and you may spend up to a year in jail. And you won't even know when you're gonna see a judge for the first time because the courts are closed.
Right.
So,
And pay up to $5,000.
or pay up to a $5,000 fine. So these people are tripping, you know.
They didn't think it through. I'm telling you, Troy.
Well, one of the authors of that bill, Senator Joe Slongstein, has thought this through, and he's like, no way, man. I'm not. He's pulled his support for the bill.
So.
Senators Hello Tadigui, Will Castro, Luis Muña, and Jim Moylan have all expressed their opposition to the bill. This is crazy. Giving, what is this? This is supposed to be America. And our senators, at least some of them, are trying to give the governor the power of a dictatorship.
I think they're just, I don't know, we need to change it. And come November, we're gonna change it. I think us having Kandit, we're getting a lot of people in their feelings about what's going on around them. Because usually people think that's not me, I'm not into politics, I don't wanna have anything to do with it, right?
Yeah.
So now, because Kandit, everybody's getting in their feelings, everybody feels like they have a voice, you know, and I love it. So
I love it.
I really believe that this is our year. We're gonna change things up at the legislature, and then it's gonna grow into the gubernatorial election.
Hopefully. I hope so. Because this gets so tiring, just like repeating ourselves about different things. And I really hope that as voters we change it in November. Rita Arceo says, well said, Johnny. Vijay Sharma says, the faster we can cure this virus, the faster we can go to bingo. That's really good perspective. Emerson Ordonez says, she will just use the money for them. They are trying to get money out of us, Troy. Couldn't agree more.
I don't know, but you can't squeeze, what's that, when you try to squeeze something out of something?
I don't know.
I forgot. But you can't squeeze anything out of me. Like,
you can squeeze a whole lot of fat from me. Deborah and Joey Benevent, he says, giving opinions or even thinking of it and it's directed to our government, you will be considered a clown. That is why the circus is still in town. Denise Pangolini said, the blind bleeding the blind. John Palau says, how do they expect us to pay $5,000? Check from Trump? Oh yeah, they'll probably just like garnish it from us or something.
no, I thought they cannot. They cannot do that. I think it's in the rules. Only if you owe back pay child support.
You just never know with this governor. You just never know. Johnny Rager says, I don't think they need it now since GPD and the National Guard are out there. You know what? Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Johnny. Lester and Jolene Akonina says, I understand, but the person came from the PI. They're responding to something up above. Jerry Mansfield says, to Denise, totally agree. I've been staying home since March 9, but had to go pick up meds and food yesterday. Oh, Carla said, you can't squeeze blood out of a stone.
Yeah.
Thanks, smart guy. Sandra Reyes says, they want your money so they can turn around and pay you your taxes. Gosh, that's another one.
I don't even think they want to pay us our taxes.
Oh my goodness. Second String is online and commenting. You keep up that yellow leg, Second String.
No, green leg. Green
leg. Joey
Hang in there, green leg.
Joey and Deborah Beneventi say, WIC and SNAP programs will triple next year because plenty babies from the coronavirus.
At least they're made with love.
I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else? No. So we will be, I don't know if we're going to have anything for Easter. If there's stories, we'll put out stories or whatever. But we will be covering the session starting at 9 a.m. Monday here at Kandit News. Please join us for that. We can make fun of senators together.
And I will be here for the marathon.
Okay, cool.
And all the breaks.
Okay, awesome.
I
Awesome.
look forward to it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just couldn't come. My babies left the other day, or we had to prepare because they were leaving the next morning. So I lost my whole family, like a whole family. You know, so I'm like kind of depressed, kind of bummed out. But they're starting their future, so I'm excited. I just wish I could have went.
And it was their first plane ride, right, for
Yes.
2 of them?
Yeah.
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 We can't end this. We cannot end this feed without.
Making fun of somebody?
Well, Jacob Nakamura did. Jacob Nakamura says, Peter J. Santos, PD boy, get a life, okay? Your mental stability concerns me and many others. So because it's Easter weekend, I'm not going to talk about your counseling sessions, okay? Because of Jesus. Happy Easter, Candid Land. We love you very much. I'm Troy Torres.
And I'm Johnny Rosario.
And that's
Good night.
Eric Rosario. Good night.
Good night.